a second. Okay, so count off one a second.
That's a little too fast. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000,
Okay,
4,
but-
1,000,
So now
5,
speed it up by
1,000.
but see, now here's the thing. Now speed it up by 20%.
1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3,
See, I
1,000,
think
4,
you just
1,000.
jumped about 50%. See what I mean? So that's what this is actually about. That's like saying, okay, give me 30%, a 30% value, and just go, oh, it's this. You know, whereas if I asked you to match a 30% value, you could go lighter, darker, and you could get it right away. But if I say envision 30%, you know, a friend of mine is I have friends who are professional musicians, and one of them went to Berklee College of Music, which is one of the hardcore music conservatories. Excellent craftsmanship, and that's what I want you to be aiming for as you go to fix this and going into the next projects. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? I think I remember. Quan, can you check to see that I went over everything?
Do you know what feedback loops and talent?
Oh, I did not. Thank you. No matter how someone starts this, it'll still beat you up. You know, people who start in the bottom will go too dark. People who start at the top will go too light. People who start in the middle, they'll do both half as much. You know, it's just there's no way to get around it. And actually, this leads to what Eureka reminded me to mention. The idea of feedback loops. All of you guys know somebody in your life who has done something for a very long time and yet isn't very good at it. You know what I mean? An example would be, you know, my aunt is a piano teacher. You know, she's taught piano for 40 years. Well, when I started meeting some of my musician friends, I realized she's not very good. Like, I can tell she's not very good because I've seen these professionals who are, like, stunning, you know, at how good they are. And it kind of was a shock to me when I realized that despite the fact that she's played for 40 years, she's a mediocre piano player. Okay? My dad has golfed for 15 years. He's a terrible golfer. Okay? And yet, you know, every year there's that 8-year-old playing at Carnegie Hall, or there's, you know, the young Tiger Woods who is at 3 years old is on the Tonight Show sinking 20-foot putts. You know? And how is that possible? How is it, you know, and it's really not talent. It isn't talent. You know, they say, oh, well, Picasso was a fabulous draftsman at age 10. Yes, he was, and his father was an art teacher and had been teaching him since he was 3. 7 years. That's about how long it takes to become a good draftsman. You know? So this book I was reading had this great thing where they were talking about the difference between what many people call practice. This author referred to as activity, not practice. You know, and he was talking about how when he goes golfing, he goes out to the driving range and he hits the ball, and this is how he practices. He goes, shake, shake, shake. You know, and then he'll go, oh, hey, all right, shit. You know, and he says that's not practice. That's activity. That will not make you improve much. Okay? He says in order for it to improve you, you need to have a feedback loop. What he means by that is you need to say, okay, I'm here, that pole is the hole. And I'm going to try and hit it, say, and today I'm going to try and hit it dead straight to that pole. And I'm not going to hook it and I'm not going to slice it. And so then you get up and you go, and you hook it just a little bit. And you go, okay, wait, why did I hook it? What went wrong? That's the feedback loop. And it's very difficult for people to do that to themselves until they're very advanced, you know, in their craft. So that's why they have a coach behind them, and the guy goes, okay, you lifted your head, you know, on the follow through. Or you didn't follow through, that's why, you know, or you followed through too much, that's why you hooked it. Because the coach can look at it and can identify it.
It comes down to analysis then.
Yeah, exactly. So you need, well, you have to have a goal, and you have to have an analysis of your effort towards that goal, and then you have to have a correction that you attempt to make to do it better the next time. You know, so for instance, at this point, you guys hopefully know where you went wrong technically. You know where you went wrong in terms of matching values and presentation, and I gave you the feedback and the analysis. And now you're going to go try it again. Now, as you're trying it again, what you want to be thinking of is like, okay, I went wrong this way last time. Okay, let's try not to do that. Okay, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to use the grades of the pencils. And then if something goes wrong, you go, wait, what happened? What did I do wrong? Back up. You know what I mean? And so one of the things we try to do for you guys here is we try to set up really vicious feedback loops. That just, you know, that they're not so vicious they kill you, but they're painful. Right, Ashley? Like that one, you know, that's a vicious feedback loop. You go, shit. You know, so anyway, I want you guys to think in those terms while you're here. So if you're not doing something right, see if you can set up a feedback loop. See, and the first step to that is having the clear idea of what the goal is. So this is the goal. You know, oh, I didn't mention this, I don't think, but I maybe mentioned to you like on the Admitted Spartans Day or one of those types of events. One of the things you guys should always be doing is, you know, you're going to, in a while, identify the people who are ahead of the curve mileage-wise or have better craftsmanship or stuff like that. Today, when we look at the cubes, you're going to be going, oh, man, that guy's good. And mine aren't as good as him, you know. And the tendency is for people to, like, that person puts their work up and they go, oh. And they put theirs. No, what you guys should be doing, honestly, when you see someone who you know is really good put their work up, you want to put your work up right next to it. Because then there's nowhere to hide. And you go, oh, shit. You know. What?
Can I take a picture?
Actually, you know, I was going to ask you, I saw you do it, and it's okay that you did, but I'm actually going to ask you not to, because I don't want you to refer to pictures. I want you to be in here. And I want you to be looking at your thing and going, okay, these are the steps. So I'm glad you
I want
asked
to
it.
hear from my notes.
Yeah, that's total. I mean, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but I really don't want you to be looking at a grayscale at all. I want you to be going, here's one value, here's another value. Where's halfway? There. Oh, that's not quite right. Okay, there. You know what I mean? And making adjustments.
Do we have set two values, like the lightest and the darkest?
No.
No? Just sort of wing it?
Yep.
But-
And now here's the thing. Some of you guys will screw those up where like you're not going dark enough on your values, and so it'll kind of skew your scale, and we'll be critical of that. But really the answer is you could have any range, but within any given range I want you to be able to tell me where's halfway, where's 30%, where's 70%. So that's actually another reason you don't want to refer to an existing grayscale, because black on your monitor is not black on your monitor, is not black on your monitor, is not black on a printout, which is why the printing out thing doesn't work, because it skews the thing too. All right. Anyway, that's kind of, again, more advanced than we need to get. My main point is, with the feedback loops, is have a goal. Have something you're actively concentrating on. One of the other things in this book that was interesting was they looked at the level of stress. They had this trained opera coach give singing lessons to a range of individuals, some of whom were not singers, some of whom were amateur, I like to sing in the car singers, some were, some were people who were mediocre singers, professional singers but at a lower level, and then professional opera singers. And they had all these people go through this singing lesson with this opera teacher. And you know who was the most stressed out? The professional opera singers, who were the best at it. Because they understood how difficult the task was and what this person was asking them to do, and they were actively working to do it in a way that the other people were just completely blind to the challenge. The mediocre people are getting, la, 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 la. They can't even hear what's going wrong, because they don't have that expertise yet. So what you're going to find is, as you get better at this, you're an advanced student. Colleen's at the level now where if you show your work to anyone who isn't in this program, like any of your friends back home or your parents are like, wow, you're amazing, right? You know, and then she shows her work to me, and I go, oh, okay. Here, let me help. You know, and that's what you're in for, kind of. You know, as you get better at this, fewer people will know. You know, like every book I have, every children's book I have, has one illustration in it that I loathe. And the only reason it's in there is because I couldn't get it to work any better than that, and I had a deadline, and that was the best I could by the day it was due. And every time I get the librarians will be reading the book in front of the class, and they get to that one. You know, and nobody knows. No one can ever pick. I've had students try and pick out the piece that I loathe from each book. They can never do it. I think they've been right once out of dozens of tries. You know, it's just, so it's what's horrible about it is I know what I wanted it to be. And I made it look professional, but oh God, I hate that piece. You know, because I'm so much better at it. Anyway, so you guys have a goal. Aim for this. Craftsmanship, and we'll go from there. Okay? All right, let's take a break.